From the Renaissance to the present day, women have taken their rightful place as the flower and ornament of the human race. To the amazing range of their physical beauty and grace, women have added those spiritual qualities we have all come to know and revere. Gaiety, affection, daring, modesty, intelligence, and the ability to use their intelligence to further enhance their beauty, making them the supreme object of man's admiration, of man's esteem. Ah, woman, in what climates and geographies has your beauty bloomed? The delicate caress of your hands made benedictions. Ah,
men make me tired. They never give women credit for any common sense at all. Women may be flowers and ornaments, all right, but they're a whole lot more than that these days, believe me. Why, look at Beth Clark. I've known her since we went to high school together. To look at Beth, you'd think she was just another of those famous butterflies. But she joined up with the Canadian Women's Army Corps not long after it was formed. She was telling me all about it only last week, about her first day as a recruit, signing up at the recruiting office. Being sworn in, a pretty solemn occasion. Arriving at barracks along with a dozen or so other girls, new like herself. The issuing of uniforms and equipment, one of the first big thrills a girl gets when she joins up. There was her first day at training center, a mass of crowded impressions. Reveille at 6 a.m., the momentary shock of waking up and finding herself in a strange bed in a strange room. The girls joking and skylarking in their high spirits. Showers and a dab of powder in the ablutions room, as they call it. Then her first morning of drill. A bit hard at first on legs not used to it. A bit confusing for brains not accustomed to split-second reactions to spoken command. Pulling on those grim-looking contraptions for gas drill in a special gas chamber, where they finish by ordering all clear and giving you a few whiffs of tear gas so you'll know what it feels like. Well, every girl likes to have a good cry now and again anyway. Dinner in the mess hall, with a chatter of hundreds of girls busily swapping stories on new experiences, comparing notes on their new jobs and the experiences yet to come. Medical examination and visit to the dentist. You've got to be right as well as look right in the forces. It's part of your duty to be healthy. And with shining teeth and a crisp new uniform, there was her first services dance at the recreational center. Good company and good music. Beth said she met some swell fellows there and enjoyed herself more that night than she had for many a moon. She hasn't joined the Army to have a good time, but I guess they figure it's important in its way. A good time, I mean. After the usual 4 weeks basic training, Beth found herself taking a motor transport driver's course. She'd driven her own car for years and soon picked up the secrets of that jitterbug of the transport world, the Jeep. The testing ground proved almost as tough a proposition for the instructor as it did for Beth, and they make them plenty tough. contrary, they both came through smiling. Although Beth said the instructor hated losing his hat and a bit of his dignity. When she passed her driver's test, Beth took over a full-time job from a man, releasing him for a more important job, perhaps overseas. Girls of all the services are doing this every day. Now a fully fledged CWAC, Beth sees the old roads from a new viewpoint, that of a young woman with a purpose. Then there was Sophie Miller, a girl who used to work in a department store in town. I met her at the Y. Sophie, like Beth, joined the CWAC without any exact idea of what she'd like to do. In the M test, or aptitude test, given all women joining the services, it was found that she was best suited for work requiring technical skill. And Sophie became a wireless technician, working on walkie-talkie radio sets, which are the nerves of the modern army in the field of action. You can imagine how tickled Sophie was when on a 48-hour leave, she found her father with his radio set scattered around on the living room carpet and fast making scrap metal out of it. Him and his hammer. Sophie put her army training to good use, and with a few deft twists of the wrist, had Paul's radio together again and working in no time. Yes, the more I think about it, the more I'm dead sure that all this talk about women being merely beautiful and little else is just a lot of bunk. Just give us a job and we'll go right to it. Another of my friends, Dorothy Brent, used to be quite an amateur photographer. Spent most of her holidays snapping pictures. She even got some into exhibitions and won a prize or two. Late last year, she joined the Royal Canadian Air Force to train in the photographic section. Dorothy explained that photography was taught to groups in the RCAF, the girls going through the motions all together of focusing, checking exposure, and loading. She said you learn surprisingly quickly this way to work methodically and precisely. And then the great day arrived, her first assignment, getting shots of the arrival of a squadron of the Royal Dutch Air Force. Prince Bernhard was one of the pilots. What should she say to him if he wouldn't keep still? Princess Juliana was there also to meet her husband. That'd make a good shot. Watch that focus, and the names of persons photographed must not be forgotten. Then those uneasy minutes in the darkroom where she developed her own negatives and made her own prints. Had she covered that assignment well? Would her pictures tell a good story? Yes, they were okay, and Bill McNaughton was mighty proud of his pupil. 2 months ago, Bill was posted overseas, and who do you think stepped into his place? None other than Dorothy Brent, ex-amateur photographer. Myra Lockridge was a school teacher, and a good one, too. But Myra felt she could do a better job during the war in one of the services, and she joined the RCAF. One day a school teacher, the next a pupil. Or that's how it seemed to Myra when she entered a class for aircraft recognition. Then a teacher again, although this time she had bigger boys to teach. Aircraft recognition is taught by projecting silhouettes of airplanes onto a screen for as little as 1/20th of a second. Fighter pilots flying at 400 miles an hour must be able to quickly identify any other aircraft that may roar into their line of vision. That's why Myra's job is so important, and she loves it. I've got to stop this daydreaming or Mary will catch me still not dressed. Gee, look at that picture of Cecile Lebet. Cecile used to be on the newsstand in a Quebec hotel. Swell girl. I met her only recently where I work. And Helen Adamson, too. She used to be a librarian in Toronto, in the reference department, as a matter of fact. Helen has more facts at her fingertips than almost any girl I know. Then there was Catherine Story, an art student in her spare time who kept house for her family. Made a sort of double career for herself. These three girls, Catherine the artist, Helen the librarian, Cecile the sales girl, all decided to join the Women's Royal Canadian Naval Service around about the same time last year. They went for their training to the Wren Training Center at Galt, Ontario, along with hundreds of girls from all walks of life and from all parts of the Dominion. There's nothing like basic training for taking those few extra pounds off your hips and for showing you what you can best do with your mind and muscles. Those first days were helter-skelter and lots of fun. But out of that bunch of raw recruits came in a few short months a smart, well-trained group of Wrens, fully equipped for full-time jobs in the Naval Service. Helen, the librarian, worked as a plotter in the chart room at Naval Headquarters in Ottawa. An important and exciting job, but pretty typical of a good many in all three services. Catherine, the artist, using her previous training, has a commission. She works as a draftsman on mechanical drawings. Cecile, the newsstand assistant from Quebec, chose drafting too, so that although she'd had no previous art training in civilian life, she found herself doing much the same sort of job as Catherine. It may be quite a journey from cigarettes to set squares, but Cecile soon settled down after being shown the ropes to a new career in the drafting room of the Naval Operations Division. There now, I'm just about ready, and about time, too. No creases in the uniform? Tie straight? Hair's okay, I think. Next, the hat. The only exclusive model in the world that's worn by 3,000 women, and no hard feelings. Here's Mary. We'll have to hurry to be at headquarters on time. Well, here go two more ornaments of the human race to work.
Activity, interest, variety. These are the key words to the life of 25,000 women in Canada's armed forces. In all-round training, the crisp patterns of drill teaches them discipline and coordination. Bodies are kept fit by scientifically planned physical training and group exercises. To the CWAC, the Wren, and the WD, these are as important as her job. Sports, too, play a big part in the training of all three services. Almost any sport she played in civilian life, a girl may follow up when she's in uniform. And for recreation, the nationwide organization of the armed services provides every chance for lively social life. The spare time of our women is well provided for, and they make good use of it. And on formal full-dress occasions, our women meet distinguished Canadians and visitors from other nations. Almost any Sunday, you'll see girls of the three services on their way to church. And in the training centers, the simple dignity of church parade every Sunday is a regular part of service life. But today, of prime interest to the women of the services are their jobs. These are many and infinitely varied. Every woman has plenty of choice if her mind is not already made up. From gardening, the Wrens, for instance, raise most of their fresh vegetables at the training centers, to office work and stenography, duties which are performed by Wrens, CWACs, and WDs alike. In Canada's Army, whose striking power is so closely geared to the machine, women play an important part as technical experts. Jobs once the property of men, now performed equally well by women. And that traditional activity, dear to the hearts of all women, cooking, is common to all three of the women's services, as is the man-sized job of transport driving, where practically every type of modern motor vehicle is handled. In the Royal Canadian Air Force, women's jobs, apart from clerical and organizational work, are also of a technical nature. These jobs the members of the Women's Division have handled with consistent skill and adaptability. The safety and effectiveness of our forces rest on the new and exciting work performed so conscientiously and brilliantly by Canadian women. Today, with victory for the United Nations almost within sight, with a great upsurge of confidence as our armed forces strike at the crumbling Nazi wall encircling Europe, our women are marching shoulder to shoulder with their brothers in arms. Behind the great embarkations of troops for the fighting fronts, troops equipped with guns and supplies, with knowledge and courage for their gigantic task, behind them are the women of our nation. They, more than ever before, have realized in their day-to-day work not only a sense of personal fulfillment and development, but a fuller sense of participation and pride in the very life and destiny of Canada.